Meredith, tell us the names of your dogs.
So in Oregon I have Brother Bear, Gertie, Betty, the White Russian, and Tan Ferrari, and a littermate to this one named Socks. This is Yeti, her father's Abominable Snowman. We also have here a Kava, a Moscow Mule, Old Crease Face is around here somewhere, and that's about it.
That's fun.
Eddies don't have names.
That's good.
Pairs of dogs or groups of dogs allows at least one or two dogs to stay locally with the animals, but it also allows the additional dogs to range the entire property to ward off predators, to establish a presence. So on this farm, these dogs will easily travel a mile or two, working the whole perimeter. They keep stray dogs away, they keep the coyotes from coming in. In Oregon, they run a wider range up there, and they've been able to effectively keep the wolves from establishing on the mountain, and also keep typically the lions and the bears pushed back. So we're hoping on that same token up there that we will also see an influx of deer moving back into the property that have been heavily predated on in the past several years.
Could you also talk about what are the big mistakes that you have found with people, like interfering with the guardian dog's success?
So it is a fine line raising these dogs. They have to have the natural instinct and ability to be able to guard. They also have to be managed in a way that will be successful for them. So the most common problem that I see actually is people not giving the dogs enough time to develop and mature. Most people will have trouble with a dog as a puppy and will give up on that dog. They are big dogs and they are big puppies, and when they're about 6 months old they want to play quite a bit. They don't know how strong they are, and it's nothing for them to use their paws and maybe knock a bird down or two. And a lot of people at that point will give up on those dogs. They will say they're not meant to guard, they're too aggressive. But there are different ways to manage those kinds of dogs. Having an older dog that helps train them is really key. That's how I've found to be the most successful. Also, sometimes you may have to manage that dog by chaining it or allowing its animals to be able to get away from them just a little bit until they learn that that's not something for them to play with. So there are different means to do that, and I try to talk to a lot of people and help them develop those dogs that way. Also, over-humanizing can be an issue. I like to be able to handle all of my dogs if I need to, in case one gets hurt or one needs me to intervene in one way or another. But what you don't want is that those dogs leave the animals they're supposed to be guarding and end up on your front door. We want these dogs to be out with the animals they're guarding. That's where we need their services. Of course, I want to be able to come out here and run my hands over them and pet them as needed, but it is a fine line, definitely, because they are big old lovable dogs, and they would rather choose probably to be pets if they could, some of them, but we have to be pretty careful about managing those dogs that way. And not every dog is intended to guard, and not every guardian dog can be a pet. There are a lot of people that do like them as pets, but the dogs that have the inherent need to guard and to range out, those are not going to make good pets. On the flip side, the dogs that want to be at the house and want to be loved on all day are probably better suited for pets than being out in the pasture with their animals. So it is just a matter of placing those dogs appropriately, and I try to be pretty careful about doing that.
Meredith, I love the story about up in Oregon when a big storm came in. One of the first real guardian dog protectives where they took the sheep. Could you talk about that story when the big storm came in?
Sure. Yeah, so about 5 years ago, a big fall snowstorm came in, and the sheep run the range up there. They graze and browse on juniper and cedar. I knew that storm was coming, but there really wasn't much I could do. It hit so quickly and so fast. The next morning, I went out to sort of assess and see how all the animals fared, and I could not find the sheep. I could not find the dogs. I could find no sign of them. At about noon, when things started to warm up and the sun came out, I started to hear the dogs up on the mountain. And they had taken all of those animals up under a big rock outcropping where all of the sheep could be protected, the baby lambs would be out of the elements, and they held them up there until the sun came out and it was all clear for them to move on down.